Happy Sunday and January the 3rd, 2021. This is Tracy with Tracy's Truths, and I'm coming on today just to go over the podcast for D4D. I'm going to go over the topics of discussion, and then I'm going to come on with the intro. So the topics of discussion for D4D, which I introduced a few days ago, if you have not seen those videos, please go back to the first of the year and catch up and then come to this video, okay? So the topics of discussion for D4D, which is dumb for dick. Not literally, but we all done been there. Okay, the topics of discussion are defining D4D, real life D4D experiences based on my experience, friends' experience, or just general conversation. So the 4 types are explained. So it's the girl that wants to be the family, marriages and long-term relationships, the insecure girl, the lonely or comfortable girl, and the clueless girl. Because we know there's a lot of clueless folks out there. Holla if you hear me. Then we have Let's Hear from the Fellas, which I did a survey of some fellas that I know, and they told me some stories, okay? Recouping from D4D, like stages for recovery, acceptance, coping mechanisms. And then I put in a little healthy notes to self so that you as women can be holding yourselves accountable, because we can't always say it's the man's problem or the man's fault, because sometimes it's us missing those big red flashing flags. All right. Well, let's get into the intro. So, like I said, this was a book that I was writing. However, I said, let me just read it online and see how that works. Okay? So this is a test. And I always want you to leave comments and let me know what you think, because this is all new to me. This whole online is new to a lot of people. All right. So I begin by saying, if you're a rap fan, you'll remember the song Dumb Girl by Run DMC. Or the reggae 90s dancehall song, Wiki Dicky. And it says something like, over the dicky, the girls done gone mad. Well, I am here to report that all is still relevant in the mid-21st century. One would think with women equality, the Me Too movement, and all the other women initiatives that we would be well past being D4D. But some women still continue down this path, and they struggle with a variety of D4D antics, which encompass the lack of selves. So when I say selves, I mean self-esteem, because I've been there years and years ago, because I would have never been through all the stuff I went through unless I had low self-esteem or I allowed my self-esteem to be lowered. Let me say that. Self-love, self-actualization, self-esteem, self-identity, baggage, and being accountable for the role we play in toxic relationships, marriages, and or courtships. After hearing and seeing so many instances since the age of 7 or 8 through the present, I thought, I love to write, especially on topics I have knowledge about or experience. And being that it's an ongoing topic of conversation, why don't I bring it to the forefront? So in this podcast, you'll learn about real stories, examples, and circumstances, summarizing this lag in judgment, while also providing insight to the women's plight of being D4D, aka, say it, DUMBDICK. All right. This encapsulates, a gamut of women from multiple ethnicities to social economic classes. It is understood that we all have very vast life experiences and varied reasonings as to why we stay in toxic relationships and or adjust to our situations, allowing men to treat us with less respect and admiration as we deserve, being that we are queens, okay? We are the queens. We really control the things. We control the relationships if we realize how much power we had. The excuses and or reasoning stem from staying for the children. He's going to change. He didn't mean to hit me, or he didn't mean to sleep with that other woman, aka he needed a break or to find himself. All excuses, not valid. Well, in some instances, he not only finds himself, but he finds a side piece. Then all of a sudden we got a baby. Now we got more excuses brought to our home front door when we didn't ask for that. We wasn't signing up for all that. Okay, so the podcast is not meant to judge anyone, by no means, but it's to share information in black and white, no gray variations, upfront and personal, in hopes of reaching individuals and to make them think, making the individuals sit back and truly think, who are not engaged enough, or they're living this life and not reassured on how to get unstuck of this cyclical way of existing. Many years ago, my grandfather, before his passing in 2006, told me that the reason why all this is happening is because women do too much for the men, hence the reason the men are so sorry. Now, this came from my grandfather, okay, who was a stand-up guy, did whatever he was supposed to do by my grandmother, by our family, by everybody. So this is his thing. He was like, y'all doing too much as women. That's why these men are so sorry. Can't do nothing. Can't change the oil, can't change the tire, nothing. I pondered on his comment, which some may view as harsh, but thought he is right. There is an issue in society, and maybe it stems in role reversal. And I've read that in books. Some women are playing the role of the provider and nurturer because they may be the breadwinners, while the man is merely playing. Not sure what role, but in a lot of instances, it is not the role of a man as I know it from my grandfather. It is understood that family hierarchy in some different cultures is different, where the woman's subservient, the man's up here, whatever. But it is also allowing a deviation from the women and man roles to an extreme extent that we see today. In our society, we have women pumping gas, seen this before, while the man sits in the passenger side. Or one time I saw a woman lugging groceries, grabbing the door while the man done walked ahead on his cell phone. And I'm thinking, oh, he gonna open the door. Wrong. She's still struggling. That's not cute, sis. That ain't cute. I'm not saying that all women or all men have this role reversal issue, or that all are D4D. But there seems to be more than I would like to see, especially being that I am a woman first. And I want all women to live their best, successful life for them. This is not to say that I have not been, like I said, D4D in other people's eyes, but I will say my moves were more of an opportunist, aka gold digger, more so than just being done for sex. Now, don't get me wrong, I overly enjoyed sex throughout my years, but I ensured that along with that enjoyment, it afforded me things that I needed. Monetary fashion. Whereas some women today, they're just doing everything with no purpose. I mean, everything, the whole gamut. You know what I mean? I will admit that I have been, like I said, dumb in the aspect of loving too hard and wanting a man or expecting a man to change, or staying in a toxic relationship one time for too long. But trust and believe, it was never emotionally driven by dick. You heard? These young women today are of a new breed. They will sleep with a man merely just for the intimacy, or because they're enjoying giving them the satisfaction. But there's really They don't have any interest. And like I tell girls, everybody got the best of the best. So don't think yours is the best because everybody got the best of the best. Okay? But it's like they get all wrapped up and then they get emotionally invested to the extent of being cray cray. I am all for getting your rocks off, but in this day and age of so many sexually transmitted diseases and unstable people, I would suggest getting a toy, as I share with my daughter her first year of college. Less emotional turmoil, disease free, and it teaches women to learn what truly makes her feel good. Or at least I hope it does if you take the time. Sort of like that movie, I forgot the name of it, but it was a movie years back where the girl basically was learning about how she felt. Something of gray. I forgot the name. But anywho, so that's the intro. Stay tuned for the next session. The next session, we'll talk about the married or long-term relationship girl and what that looks like. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Cheers, ciao bella, and enjoy. Signing off.